Every other animal built for cold climates comes with built-in insulation, thick fur, blubber, dense coats. Humans got none of that. So somewhere along the way, we had to invent our own skin. But clothing wasn't just about staying warm. For most of our evolutionary history, humans lived in warm African climates where clothing wasn't necessary for survival. But at some point, our ancestors began covering their bodies, and genetic evidence gives us a strange of knowing roughly when. Researchers studying the evolution of human lice, specifically the split between head lice and body lice, which need clothing to survive, estimate humans started wearing clothing somewhere around Ebite-Tearsling years ago. That's a real clue hidden in something as unglamorous as parasites. The most straightforward explanation is migration. As early humans moved out of Africa and into colder regions of Europe and Asia, bare skin simply wasn't survivable. Clothing became a portable, wearable climate, allowing a body built for the tropics to function in environments it was never biologically designed for. This wasn't a small adaptation. Without the ability to create effective clothing, entire regions of the planet would have remained permanently unreachable, no matter how resourceful or intelligent early humans became. Here's where it gets more interesting. Some researchers argue that early hide-wearing may have started not purely for survival, but for practical protection, shielding skin from thorns, insects, and abrasion while foraging or traveling through rough terrain. A loose hide draped over the shoulders didn't need to be sewn or fitted to offer meaningful protection long before true tailored clothing existed. This suggests clothing may have evolved in stages. First casual, protective draping, then, as humans pushed into colder regions, increasingly deliberate, engineered garments designed specifically to trap heat. Beyond warmth and protection, clothing quickly took on a second function that had nothing to do with survival directly: identity. Archaeological evidence, beads, pigments, and decorative elements found alongside clothing-related tools suggests early humans used what they wore to signal group identity, status, or even this matters more than it might seem. In a world without written language, what you wore could instantly communicate which group you belonged to, how skilled a hunter or crafter you were, or even your role within the tribe. Clothing wasn't just insulation. It became one of the earliest forms of visual communication humans ever developed. Making effective clothing required real innovation, scraping and treating hides to prevent them from rotting or stiffening, and, eventually, the invention of bone needles and sinew thread to create fitted, sewn garments rather than simple draped coverings. This technological leap, turning a raw animal hide into wearable, durable, weatherproof material, took generations of accumulated trial and error to perfect. Once fitted, sewn clothing existed, it didn't just help individuals survive cold climates. It effectively expanded the entire livable range of the human species, allowing groups to settle and thrive in environments that would have been lethal just a few generations earlier. Okay? So clothing wasn't really one invention, it was several, layered on top of each other over tens of thousands of years: casual protection, then serious insulation, then identity and communication, then engineered construction. Like the simplest, most basic thing you do every morning, putting on clothes, represents one of the most quietly transformative technologies our species ever developed. Every time you grab a jacket without thinking twice, you're using a technology that took your ancestors tens of thousands of years to develop from scratch, one that let a fundamentally tropical animal spread across nearly the entire planet. Clothing didn't just cover our bodies. It rewrote the boundaries of where humans could exist at all. Wait, if you want to see how early humans eventually pushed into the corners of the earth using exactly this kind of innovation, hit subscribe. This is Ancestral Line.